The airport was busy with travelers rushing to catch flights or waiting for loved ones. Among the crowd was Max, a police dog trained to find dangerous things like drugs and bombs. His handler, Officer Jamie Reynolds, had worked with Max for nearly 10 years. Together, they made a strong team protecting the airport. One normal day suddenly changed. Max stopped and lunged fiercely at a single blue suitcase sitting alone near a pillar. Passengers froze, watching in shock. Max's reaction was unusual, urgent and full of emotion. What was inside wasn't drugs or explosives. It was a tiny puppy, weak and trapped, fighting to survive. This story is about courage, instincts, and saving lives. Stay with us as we reveal how Max and Jamie uncovered a cruel crime hiding in plain sight. Officer Jamie Reynolds and her loyal partner Max were on their usual patrol inside a bustling airport terminal. Jamie had been working with K-9 units for nearly 10 years, and Max was a highly trained Labrador retriever known for his calm demeanor and incredible sense of smell. Together, they were responsible for keeping travelers safe by detecting dangerous items such as explosives, narcotics, or any suspicious objects that could pose a threat. That day started like any other. People hurried to their gates, picked up their bags, and greeted friends or family members. The airport was alive with noise, footsteps, conversations, announcements, and rolling luggage. Max moved quietly but attentively through the crowds, sniffing bags and people's belongings with a sharp nose trained for precision. Officer Jamie Reynolds and her loyal partner Max were on their usual patrol inside a bustling airport terminal. Jamie had been working with K-9 units for nearly 10 years, and Max was a highly trained Labrador retriever known for his calm demeanor and incredible sense of smell. Together, they were responsible for keeping travelers safe by detecting dangerous items such as explosives, narcotics, or any suspicious objects that could pose a threat. That day started like any other. People hurried to their gates, picked up their bags, and greeted friends or family members. The airport was alive with noise, footsteps, conversations, announcements, and rolling luggage. Max moved quietly but attentively through the crowds, sniffing bags and people's belongings with a sharp nose trained for precision. People nearby stopped in their tracks, some unsure whether to be worried or simply curious. The sudden barking and commotion drew attention, and whispers spread quickly through the crowd. Jamie immediately radioed for backup and started cordoning off the area, keeping the growing crowd at a safe distance. Security officers arrived promptly, and the bomb squad was called in, following strict airport protocols whenever suspicious luggage is discovered. But Jamie's instincts told her this was different. Max's behavior wasn't the usual aggressive alert. Instead, there was something deeply unsettling in his reaction, a blend of distress and urgency that she had never seen before. Max wasn't just signaling danger, he was signaling something else, something that felt personal. Max pressed his nose repeatedly against the suitcase seams, sniffing intently as if trying to communicate that a living being was trapped inside. Jamie's heart pounded as she watched her partner's unusual reaction, feeling an invisible weight of urgency and sadness in the air. The crowd held their breath as officers prepared to open the suitcase with extreme care. Max stayed nearby, eyes locked on the bag, his tail lowered but still alert. Jamie realized that this moment was unlike any other. Whatever was inside the suitcase was not just suspicious, it was critical. Minutes felt like hours as the tension grew. Every person watching knew something important was about to be revealed. Jamie's experience and Max's sharp instincts had brought them to a moment that could change many lives. The airport buzzed with anticipation. Max's alert was about to expose a hidden truth no one had expected. The officers carefully unzipped the navy blue suitcase. The crowd around held their breath, watching silently, waiting for what would come next. The tension was thick, no one knew what to expect. Inside the suitcase, curled up tightly, was a tiny puppy. The little animal was trembling, so weak it could barely move. Its fur was dirty and matted, soaked with sweat and dirt. The ribs of the puppy were clearly visible through its thin skin, which looked as fragile as paper. The poor puppy had been locked inside the cramped suitcase for a long time. There was no food, no water, and no fresh air. It had no space to move or breathe properly. One of the officers carefully reached in and lifted the fragile puppy out, holding it gently in his hands. The puppy let out a soft whimper but was still alive. Max moved closer to the officer and let out a quiet, sorrowful whine. It was clear that Max wasn't just a police dog trained to detect danger, he felt the suffering of this helpless animal. Everyone watching was silent, shocked and heartbroken by the scene before them. Jamie stood still, feeling overwhelmed. Even after many years on the job, she had never witnessed cruelty like this. The suitcase had no tag or name, and the luggage claim ticket was torn off. Someone had deliberately tried to hide what was inside. Jamie and the police officers knew this was more than a lost suitcase, it was a serious crime against a living being. The puppy was rushed immediately to a veterinarian for urgent care. Although very weak, the puppy was alive, thanks to Max's keen senses and Jamie's quick action. Jamie later said Max's behavior on that day was unlike any other time. Max wasn't just alerting to danger, he was sensing real pain and suffering. This moment showed the power of instincts and compassion, even in a police dog. The airport crowd slowly dispersed, many wiping tears from their eyes. The story of the tiny puppy in the suitcase was just beginning to unfold, but it already touched the hearts of everyone present. Jamie and Max had just saved a life, and started a mission to stop a cruel crime. After the puppy was rescued, the airport authorities quickly secured the area around the suitcase. Officers began a careful search, reviewing hours of security camera footage to find the person who left the suitcase behind. Officer Jamie Reynolds took the lead on the investigation. Despite feeling shaken by the discovery, she remained calm and focused. Max's keen senses had helped uncover a crime that no dog was specifically trained to detect: animal cruelty. The security footage showed a man in his 40s carefully dragging the suitcase through the terminal. He looked nervous, glancing around as if afraid someone might notice what was inside. At the check-in counter, the man said nothing to the attendant. He simply dropped the suitcase and walked away quickly. There was no name, no luggage tag, and no ticket number to trace the owner. It was clear that the person wanted to hide their identity. The police cross-checked airport records and found that the man worked for a local cab company. Further background checks revealed he had a history of animal abuse and smuggling. Thanks to Max's alert and the hard work of the officers, they now had a suspect. Jamie said the man's nervous behavior showed guilt, but the police were prepared to take action. This discovery was just the start. The investigation would soon reveal a larger illegal operation that was causing suffering to many animals. The airport slowly returned to normal as the news spread quietly among travelers. But for Jamie and Max, the job was far from over. They were determined to follow the trail, to find out how deep this cruel crime went, and to bring those responsible to justice. Every second counted. The animals' lives depended on it. With the suspect's name and address in hand, Officer Jamie Reynolds and a team of officers quickly moved to the man's apartment. Max led the way, his nose close to the ground as he searched for any sign of more animals or evidence. The building was quiet and still when they arrived. They knocked on the door but received no answer. Max growled softly near the door, sensing something inside. Jamie gave the signal, and with one strong kick, the officers forced the door open. The smell hit them immediately, a terrible mix of rotting food, urine, and something far worse. Inside, the suspect was startled and tried to escape through the back window, but the officers caught him before he could get away. The small apartment was a horrifying sight. Cages were stacked on top of each other, filled with puppies, kittens, and even exotic birds. Many animals were sick and weak, kept in filthy, cramped conditions. The animals' soft cries filled the air. Jamie's eyes welled up with tears as she saw how badly the creatures were suffering. Max sniffed carefully, spending extra time near the weakest animals, clearly trying to comfort them. It became clear this wasn't just about one puppy in a suitcase. It was a cruel, illegal business trafficking many animals. Thanks to Max's keen senses and the police's fast action, this illegal operation was brought to an end. Jamie said that raid was one of the hardest moments in her career, but also one of the most important. Many lives were saved that day, and justice began to take its course. News of Max's discovery and the apartment raid spread quickly. People across the city and beyond were shocked and angry when they learned about the cruel treatment of innocent animals. TV stations and social media platforms shared headlines like, "Police Dog Saves Puppy," and "Hidden Animal Cruelty Operation Exposed." The story touched many hearts, inspiring thousands to speak out against animal abuse. Many people sent messages thanking Max and Officer Jamie Reynolds for their bravery and quick actions that saved the tiny puppy and helped stop a large illegal operation. Thanks to Max's keen senses and the police's fast action, this illegal operation was brought to an end. Jamie said that raid was one of the hardest moments in her career, but also one of the most important. Many lives were saved that day, and justice began to take its course. News of Max's discovery and the apartment raid spread quickly. People across the city and beyond were shocked and angry when they learned about the cruel treatment of innocent animals. TV stations and social media platforms shared headlines like, "Police Dog Saves Puppy," and "Hidden Animal Cruelty Operation Exposed." The story touched many hearts, inspiring thousands to speak out against animal abuse. Many people sent messages thanking Max and Officer Jamie Reynolds for their bravery and quick actions that saved the tiny puppy and helped stop a large illegal operation.